In this video we're going to have a look at finding a percentage of a quantity. To do these types of problems, all we need to do is change the percentage to a decimal by dividing it by 100 and then take that decimal and multiply it by the amount. So the first question here, we've got what is 45% of $340? So 45%, you want to change that to a decimal. On my calculator, 45 divided by 100, get 0.45. Of in maths means times, and then we're just multiplying that by 340. So on my calculator, because I've got 0.45 as the last entry or as the last answer, what I can do is if I now press the multiplication sign, it will take the last answer on the calculator and enter it into my new equation. So ANS stands for answer, and it's taking 0.45 times 340, enter 153. So don't forget your units. Next question, find 3% of 95 litres. So 3%, enter that into the calculator and divide it by 100. I get 0.03. Now it's always good to actually enter that just to check so that you don't enter this as 0.3, which is 30%. So 0.03 is 3% times 95 litres. Okay, on my calculator, times 95 equals 2.85. So 2.85 litres. And just take care that you transfer the answer correctly from your calculator to your paper. Calculate 128% of 64 kgs. So you can have percentages over 100%. So 128, enter that and divide it by 100. I get 1.28. Again, just take care of your transferal of calculator answers to your paper. So 128 is 1.28 times 64 kgs. 81.92. 81.92 kgs. Okay, let's have a look at some word problems. You could pause the video and have a go at these. How'd you go? So 72% of people in an auditorium are children. If there are 1,500 people in the auditorium, how many are children? So I am finding 72% of 1,500. So actually write that down. So I need to find 72% of 1,500. So 72% as a decimal is 0.72 times 1,500, and that equals 1,080. 1,080, and just pop at the end there children in order to explain what your answer means. A few years ago, 31% of New Zealanders lived in Auckland. If the population of New Zealand at that time was 4.3 million, so I'm just going to write that out in full, 4.3 million, so you're going to write the 3 there. We need 5 zeros after the 4 and the 3. So that's 4.3 million. How many people lived in Auckland? So a few years ago, 31% lived in Auckland. The population of NZ at that time was 4.3 million. So I need to find 31% of this number here, 4.3 million. Okay, so 31%, divide that by 100, get 0.31 times 4.3 million, and that is equal to just take care of the number of zeros you're adding on there. Just ensure that you've got the right number. I get 1,333,000. People in Auckland. Okay, a couple more questions. You can pause the video and have a go. So there is $480 left in Jacqueline's account. If she withdraws 62.5% of her savings, how much does she have left in her account? So let's work out how much she withdraws. So she withdraws 62.5% of her savings which is 480. So 62.5 on my calculator, dividing that by 100, get 0.625 times 480, that is equal to $300. So that is how much she withdraws. She withdraws that amount. The question is asking how much does she have left in her account. So left in account is 480 minus 300, which is equal to 180. So just take care you read the questions carefully. GST of 15% is the tax in New Zealand payable on all goods and services tax, on all goods and services. Calculate the tax payable on a pre-GST price of $62.20. So I need to find 15% of $62.20. So find 15%, and that'll be the GST that is paid. Find 15% of $62.20. So 15% is 0.15 times 62.20, that is equal to $9.33. So $9.33 tax.